We made it to Pennsylvania. Didn't shoot anything yesterday. It was kind of an uneventful day. Short travel. We got here at the Brandywine Creek campground. So I'm guessing this is the Brandywine Creek. I don't see any fish in there, but probably there is some, I'm sure. Interesting place here. I mean, the last place we left, amazing amenities. This place, they got a pool. It's clean. It looks nice. No one was in the office when we got here, though they did answer the phone eventually. It's kind of a minimally run type of a place. They do have full hookups. Water pressure is pretty low. Still good enough to take a shower. So I'm thinking it's about 30 psi is what their water is pushing at. I mean, barely 40 if we get to 40. They do have a lot of stuff online. They do online check-in, so they did send us an email with the site number on it. They do have the map online, so it's kind of a lot of the stuff you'd normally get when you go to a campground. They have it all online, so if you're tech savvy, you should be okay. If you're not, could be a challenge. Price isn't bad. We're paying $300 for 7 nights. They do have a monthly rate. There are some people that do stay here full time. It looks nice. It looks like it's more retired couples and people that are here full time. I don't see what we've seen in other campsites for the full timers. I won't get into that too bad, but yeah, some of those can get really sketchy, but this is actually really nice here. Very humid, but you can't blame that on the campsite. So that's enough for talking about this place. We may take a look around, but there's not a lot to see. It's just what you see behind me is pretty much it. A little bit of space between sites, not a lot, but fair. And today we are going to see where this current government we have got started. We're going to be in Philadelphia and checking out the sites there. So without further ado, let's hit the road and go get to Philadelphia. We are in Philadelphia. Yay! So one of the things about Philadelphia, whoops, I'm losing where we are here. One of the things about Philadelphia is they had this big art push thing, and there are murals all over. So we're going to go ahead and take the opportunity to do a montage of murals of Philadelphia. But at the moment,
yeah, there's one
10:46. I think we're gonna try to find the Reading Marketplace first. I think we're close to that. We have our appointment at 1 o'clock to go see Independence. Oh my gosh, that looks cool. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I need to get it on the other side because I've got that.
So anyways, murals. Here we go.
Okay.
Cue music. Reading Terminal Market. I think we're going to need to walk back here before we get to the truck at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
Just to do shopping.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. closing in on Washington Square. Yeah, Washington Square is that straight in front of us. So when Philadelphia was in the planning stages, they built it more in a grid system. They planned into it 4 green areas, 4 parks that could be used by the people in each quadrant of the city.
Feels like the degrees just dropped.
Yeah, so Washington Square, this one actually, during the toward the end of the Revolutionary War, there was a lot of bodies building up. They wound up turning this into like a cemetery. As the park evolved, they wound up turning it into a memorial, and there's supposed to be somewhere around here a Revolutionary War memorial to the unknown soldier. That could be it. Yeah, that's it. They had a fountain, they had the flags of the states. There were states of that time, so you got the 13 states. So before I get people putting in comments about there weren't 4 squares, there were 5 squares, I'm going to basically say right now I made a mistake. They designed 5 squares into the city, not 4. So this was one of the 5, count them, and I will put the names of all 5 in the comments below. Directly behind me is where independence was declared back in 1776. They read the document on the 2nd, and they had, I forgot how many changes. I'm not going to give you a history lesson, so you have to look that one up yourself. But Thomas Jefferson was he was that guy in school that you had a group project and everyone gave it to him to write. Yeah, that was Tommy. So basically, it was all written, brought in, then they complained and wanted to make changes. Yeah, that's easy to do. You're doing the writing, let's make changes. And they finally came up with the right thing, got it ratified, and that and the rest is also history. So, Independence Hall. So this last building on the end is Congress Hall, I believe. This building is where the Senate and the Congress were. George Washington had a second inauguration in this building, and John Adams was the second president to be inaugurated president, which was the first time that a peaceful transition took place. See, I was right.
Next one's in about 15 minutes.
Oh, cool. So John Adams being inaugurated, being the first peaceful transfer of power in this country, and that would basically hold all the way up until 2020, when it wasn't quite as peaceful of a transfer of power. But that is what was set at that time, and it held up for that long of a time, and hopefully will continue for years and centuries to come. But this is the place where that all happened. The bell tower in the top of Independence Hall is actually where the Liberty Bell originally resided. We were watching a very interesting program. In fact, I won't tell you all about it so you can watch it. It's Brian Unger Time Machine series. He talks about how the Liberty Bell was removed and hidden for a while, and eventually was replaced because of the crack. Philadelphia was also the site for the U.S. government, federal government, while Washington, D.C. was being built. It's nice and cool in here. I'm glad the founding fathers discovered air conditioning. I'm sure this is a pretty nasty place back in the day. Hard to see this building in the background, but it was the United States Post Office. We have the Benjamin Franklin Museum, because remember, he was the postmaster. This building was going to be destroyed.
It's open.
It was going to be destroyed, but basically what happened was a group of people, once again, they're trying to preserve as much history as possible here after all, look at the city we're in, and they're now turning it into a museum. And it will be the Benjamin Franklin Museum, still under renovation. So we are almost there. This is 3rd Street coming up. Sonny's Old City Famous Cheesesteaks. Now we are coming up on Christ Church. This is a famous church where all of the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, they all sat in there. You see there. Just hanging out here at Betsy Ross's courtyard for a little while Don's checking out the museum shop. But we're going to be heading on down. We've very organized this trip. I kind of mapped it out. I'll put a list and a map of the streets we went down in case you're interested in following that path. There's a lot more places we could have seen. We just didn't have the time. It's already 4 o'clock. We're going to be heading back to the truck. But on the way back, we have one more stop, and that is the graveyard for Christ Church. It is not at the site of Christ Church, and that is actually where Benjamin Franklin is buried. So we're going to go see that next. On to the burial site. So Arch Street Meeting House. All right, so that was basically it for Philadelphia. We're going to end this video here.
It was such an interesting town. Seeing the Liberty Bell, you know, in person, and
That was cool.
I don't know why I always pictured it as being much. It was big.
Oh,
but
bigger.
I just bigger.
Well,
I guess it's because of the significance.
I don't know. The fact that it's on the back of a
significance
quarter, I thought it might be a little smaller, but no. Just kidding. No, it was a beautiful
Yeah,
town, though, and
it
there's so
was.
much we missed.
A lot of walking.
But we did a lot. You saw our walking tour that we did, and we did see
I
City Hall.
love that little street. That little street, the oldest.
Elfrith. We never could say it quite
No,
right,
quite.
but it's in there.
Okay, so Ephraim's. So this is Ephraim's Alley.
Elfrith.
Ephrith. Okay, so this is Ephrith's Alley. And
Elfrith, like Andy
I did it.
There,
Yeah,
it's there.
the oldest continually living English-speaking street in
Yeah.
America. Just fascinating.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
yeah. So anyways, make sure that you hit that subscribe button
And hit that bell, let you know when we post every Sunday at 2.
at 2, and thumbs up for good measure. Don't forget the website, www.ourroadtocamelot.com.
Facebook and Instagram.
All right, so until next time, safe travels.
Salancha.